Rob and Big was a reality show that premiered on MTV in 2006 that followed the daily antics of pro skateboarder Rob Dyrdek and his best friend bodyguard Christopher Big Black Boykin. Though the show seemed virtually unstoppable as it really propelled the DC brand onto everyone's television screens, and in high school, honestly, everyone wore some sort of DC attire. The two co-stars would eventually have a falling out, marking the show's conclusion only 2 years later in 2008. So what happened? In this video, we explore the fallout of MTV's Bestest of Friends, Rob and Big. Before the buddies flaunted the hell out of their DC merch, Rob Dyrdek found his passion for skateboarding in the town of Kettering, Ohio, where he would essentially become a local celebrity, earning one of his first sponsorships at the age of 11. And according to the Dayton Daily News, in 1991, at the age of 16, Dyrdek turned pro and placed 5th in the World Championships in Germany. So it's safe to say that Rob's skateboarding and entrepreneurship helped to launch his own companies like Orion Trucks and Silver Trucks, and with his most notable deal being with the DC Shoe Company, being one of the original riders for the brand, and received his first pro signature shoe in 1995. Let's jump to 2003 to the launch of the first ever DC skateboarding video that featured legendary segments from Josh Callis, Danny Way, and Rob Dyrdek, in which we would also be introduced to another, bigger kind of legend, with his name being Christopher Big Black Boykin. So the premise was simple. Rob Dyrdek hired Navy veteran Christopher Boykin as his security to deal with those other pesky security guards that were bothering him. And the skit worked. So much so, 3 years later, after the release of the DC video, MTV would premiere an instant classic that would dawn an era of catchphrases and DC fanboys throughout the skateboarding community. MTV debuted Rob and Big in November of 2006 that would be produced by the company Dig House Productions, who, if they sound familiar, were responsible for shows like Jackass and Wild Boys, to say the least. Thanks, Jeff Tremaine. So the premise for this show? Another simple one. A day in the life of Rob Dyrdek and Christopher Big Black Boykin, and honestly, it was one of my favorite shows as a teenager. The two really did have nice chemistry on screen and always had something to do, from breaking Guinness World Records to Big Black stripping as Black Lavender. The ideas were fresh and Big Black carried the show with his awesome personality, despite the fact that Boykin would become unhappy with the show and didn't even live in the house with Rob.
You had a small ass room, dog. Come on, you should have known that right there.
on the real though, I never even lived there. I had a crib down the street, man. I never lived in this house.
After only airing for 3 seasons, buying a mini horse, a bulldog, and broadcasting 31 episodes, the show would unexpectedly end in April of 2008, and the last episode would tell the audience that Big Black was moving out to raise his newly born daughter.
Congratulations, no doubt. Be right back, yo.
But was that the case? According to an in-depth interview with Rob Dyrdek, Rob would state that his falling out with Big Black would be because of Boykin feeling like he was a sidekick and not a co-star. And oftentimes while filming the show, they would have to stop over tensive creative differences.
I think it was more the fundamental struggle of wanting to not be so connected to each other, right? You know, after we had a big blowout creatively over like an idea, because he knows I would write all the ideas.
Whereas Big Black had something different to say about his falling out with Dyrdek.
Last time I was listening to the show, you had Rob on there, and I'm gonna tell him what really went down.
Whoa!
Yeah, there's a reason why they don't fuck with me no more, man. A total reason. You know, Rob has a total ego problem, man.
Don't get me wrong. Big Black would once again reunite with the skateboarder in Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, and also made guest appearances on the show Ridiculousness before ultimately dying of a heart attack in May of 2017, with an MTV spokesperson stating that he was a longtime and beloved member of the MTV family and will be greatly missed. Rob Dyrdek would take to social media stating that his heart was broken, and that he doesn't want to believe this is reality. Though the fallout of Rob and Big seemed to have been squashed later on in life, it saddens me that 2 of my favorite best friends had a fallout to begin with, and I often wonder what could have been of the show if money or egos hadn't been in the way of their content creation.